Hello again everybody, welcome to episode 4, I believe, of our Let's Play series chronicling our progression through Transport Fever 2 on a free game. We are currently sat near the stone haulage line, watching the horse and carts trundle past on their merry way between the quarry and the brickworks. You can also see the river and a few hills in the distance. I must say, it is a very pretty game, you know, especially when you get down low to the ground and just take a few moments to take it all in. See one of the ships just about to come past in the distance there. So, let's get started, I suppose. We left off after the end of the last episode, after expanding the train line to start servicing the tools factory and providing the required lumber. So that's up and running and ticking along quite nicely. Other than that, things are just continuing on their way. Now the question is, where do we go from here? I suppose one thing we could explore is the possibility of a intercity train service that goes between Coventry and Bridgwater, which would replace the buses we have running the intercity line at the moment. However, I'm reluctant to do that, as I want to keep some buses and some road vehicles on the map, especially for some, relatively short distances. Obviously, the gap between between Coventry and Bridgwater isn't that excessive, and it can be done quite successfully using road vehicles, even at this early stage when they have a top speed of 11 miles per hour and only a small capacity of 4 passengers. In terms of finances, we have 1.658 million in the bank, there or thereabouts. We are profitable year on year. Obviously, we had some expenditure here. I think it was a train or something we may have got. Must have been. But, take that away and would have been profitable. Last year, it was 1.4 million. The year before, it was just under 750,000. So, things looking pretty good. One thing we were looking at is, do we need more ships running this line? Because I think the frequency between the ships is quite high. Let's have a look. Where we just look at the ones we can see. There we go. Yeah, the brick shipping, it's every 11 minutes. Obviously, one in-game year is 12 minutes, so that's pretty much just one ship landing at each port once a year. We could improve that. That would bump this number up somewhat. However, I don't want to risk oversaturating, but look at it now. We've got one ship that has just left. Here, ship number 4. Ship number 3 is on its way to the port, and there is a lot of bricks waiting to be delivered. The brickworks upgraded to level 2, so got high production rate there. So I don't think there's any. I think we could justify. We could even go as far as having an extra 2 ships run this route. So what I'm going to do is duplicate 2 of the ships and have them run the line, which means we'll have 6, which is going to cut down the time interval between each drop-off, and hopefully it's not going to have a knock-on effect where we have ships waiting here for too long for a full load, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Another thing we could do is turn our attention to Bridgwater, and instead of having a train line running between Coventry and Bridport, we could have it running between Coventry and Bridgwater. The question is, if we do that, would we want to utilise the existing line we have here, or do we want to keep our passenger lines and our freight lines separate where possible? I'm leaning towards keeping them separate, so there's no interference between the two different types of service. So I'd run a new unconnected line from Coventry to Bridgwater, and I think the way to run it would be to follow the river coast and have a station on the outskirts of Bridgwater and one on the outskirts of Coventry. We can have a bus service that goes from the city out to the station, likewise in Bridgwater, and that will keep the noise pollution to a minimum, as we'll not have dirty, noisy trains going anywhere near the city centre. Obviously the cities are likely to expand and they could encroach on that, but there's not much we could do about that. But it's going to be a whole lot better than plonking it, you know, right on the edge here, where it's going to have an impact on these residential buildings over here. So we could keep it over here perhaps, where we have mainly commercial, I believe, in this area. And that may be the way ahead. Now, I did say I don't like to have too many, or even any, separate lines across the map. However, I think separating the passenger lines and the freight lines is a good idea. So I'll make an exception to my own rule for this. Here, before we get started with that, we can see the tools are starting to build up on the platform, which says to me clearly I got rid of a few too many wagons on this line, so it could be worth adding some more on. As it stands, we have 14. I think if we had another 4 to make that to 18, that should do us for the time being, and it shouldn't cause too many issues in terms of traffic build-up at the drop-off point. Obviously, we did move it off the main street to avoid that issue occurring anyway. So we shall, we'll see what effect adding some more on has. So we can't afford to do anything at the moment today. We have to purchase into 2 ships, so any talk of train line needs to be suspended for the time being, but that's okay. So I think what we'll do now is, we've still got the date on 1/4 speed. So we'll set the game speed to 4 times acceleration while we accumulate some funds and let things do what they're doing. And then I think it is time to set up a train service for passengers. What we could do while we're waiting for more money to accumulate is actually get a rough idea as to where we're going to have it and get the road network in place for it. So as I said, I'm thinking of keeping it, you know, or having it in and around the riverbank in this sort of area. The land is going to be a little flatter over here, or it should be, in theory. So I think that's what we'll do. So if we say we're going to have it around here, and then this road can be an access stroke service road for the train station, given the idea is the train is going to be quite popular, probably not a bad idea to have a dedicated full-scale station, bus stroke tram station, service a train station. I'm going to future-proof a little and include tram tracks. If we put it there, the idea being the train station is going to be over here. That'll incorporate the train station in its catchment area. So let's go ahead and connect this to the network like that, and I guess we could just go straight in like that, and then we could start upgrading some of the town roads that we have to include tram lines. And I think what we're going to do, we have the bus that we laid on earlier that does an outskirts loop, if you will. So I think if we have this, it's quite expensive because we're upgrading the size of the roads, but That is what it is. But yes, if we have it run more through the centre of town, or the city, and then obviously we've used all our money, so we'll have to wait a few moments, but and then have it connect to this exchange, then they can all be linked together, and then the tram can run back out this way, and I'd say we go down here and then across here and back in through there. So we'll do that. Okay, our money's built back up again, which is good. Oh, we need to connect that bit there as well. So we'll come down this line, this road, like so. And that's our tram metro service, connecting the two and also incorporating the station. We could make a start and actually run a tram service now. And I'm going to do a clockwise and counterclockwise service. So I shall have stops on both sides of the road. Like that. All the way up and all the way down. We'll have one there. That's why not. And then into there. We'll duplicate it. We can't quite match it up, but there we go. That's those two done. And then we come down this way. Around here. They're a bit close together, but that's okay. And we also need a tram depot, which I think we'll just put over here, which is somewhat out of the way. We'll put it on the inside so there's no danger of it interfering with our train station that's about to be dropped in. And we'll start a metro line now. Why not? So we want to head this way around and to here. And then it went to here. That's on the wrong side, but it should. Yeah, it's rectified itself. And then to here. I'm not going to do this one. In fact, no, I'll do it now. But I am going to add extra platforms. So the buses and the trams at the exchange aren't sat on top of each other. And then into there. Perfect. So before I'll name the line now. Metro 01, and this is Coventry. There we go. So before I do the second mirror line, let's expand this by adding an extra 2 passenger platforms, one on either side. New train. Could be worth putting on our existing lines. It's no doubt going to be more powerful than the existing train, which is the Baldwin. So we can have a look at that. So we want you to use platform number 1. Yep, that's all good. And now we want to set up the second metro line, which is going to be running in the opposite direction. So come out of here, there, and then around through the station exchange. I believe that's all of the stops we put down. Yes. And this will be metro number 2. It's in the middle. Andrew, come on. There we go. We've got metro 1 and metro 2. And we shall have, I think, for the time being, 4. I guess we go for that one. It's the highest capacity and the lowest emissions and the highest speed. So it's win-win-win. So we'll have 4 on each. So we need 8 total. So those 4 are going to be purple, running number 1 line. The remaining 4 are orange, running number 2 line. there may not be much use or demand for the services as it stands, but I think when we get the train station in, they'll start seeing a lot of use. Now, obviously, we've just unlocked the Russian, I believe it was a Class T. So let's see what effect this would have if we swapped our locomotives from the Baldwin 6-wheeler to the Russian Class T Type 1. So we've doubled power, much better speed, which in turn means we can have more wagons on the train. So I think the logical ones to replace first are the ones that run the logging freight line. So let's go ahead and see if we can afford to do that now. Just double check the speed differential here. So we've got 31 miles an hour against 25, 20 miles an hour medium grade against 11. They do take longer. Oh no, they are quicker to hit their top speed. So to do that, that would cost us 700,000. So can we also take this time to add some more wagons to our train? Let's try that. That's still a better speed than we were achieving previously. So if we just wait for a couple of moments until we hit 1.5 million, we're at 1.2 at the moment, we shall modify those two trains, get them coloured the appropriate line colour, and that should serve us quite well. So currently our money earners are these ships. So do we have any ships approaching? Yes, we have one. We actually have a chain of 3, so they need to be spaced out better. The game... Oh, damn it. Too busy looking at the ships. As we're saying, yes, the game will space those out naturally over time, so we'll leave that to its own devices. But this does mean we have 3 chunks of money about to drop into the account, which will more than cover the cost of upgrading and replacing the trains on the logging line. So if we just wait patiently for a minute or two for this train, it's not a train at all, this ship to arrive, then we can go ahead and cover the cost of modifying our logging trains. So here he comes now. We'll just keep that. Never mind, we didn't have to. We got in there just in time, just before he arrived anyway. So colour them the appropriate brown. It looks a bit weird in the little thumbnail. How do they look in brown in reality? Let's get down close and have a look. Edge like they're made out of chocolate. Chocolate train. Anyway, that's done. So the next thing you want to do is, as I said, start a passenger line between Coventry and Bridgwater. So the first thing we can do before anything else is go ahead and let's have a large one here. We'll have a blue trim. Since Coventry is going to be our capital, I think we'll go for 2 for now. We can always expand it manually, but we will have a large platform in straight away. So if you just slide in nicely just there. Perfect. Yes. We'll rename you to Coventry. And then if we build the second station, that's going to service the line over in Bridgwater. And we'll have him... I think we'll go again on the outskirts, get it somewhere where it's relatively flat. So, oh, there, look, that's not too bad. Just there. Can't afford it. We could a second ago, so just wait a moment. We should be able to. There we go. And he is not up at Bridgwater, he is simply Bridgwater. But now let's get a street connection for the Bridgwater station. We'll not have tram line immediately in here. It's only a small town. It's probably not warranted as it stands. Just have him sweep out a little wider there, and then he connect in like that. Yes, for Bridgwater, for initially we'll just have a simple bus service that drops off and picks up on generic bus stops just outside the station, rather than having a terminus, if you will, like we have over here. Well, the metro is a lot busier than I expected it to be. I guess that means the demand for our buses may have dropped off somewhat. Let's check that. Bus service 1, yes, that's fallen off. But we'll leave them. If they make a loss, I'm not too concerned. They don't cost the earth, so there's no major drama if they're operating at a small loss. So we're not going to be able to afford to track the entire distance at this time, but we can make a start. So we'll dual track with the diamond slip switch. And then we want to head, I guess we don't want to go through this little mound here. Rather, we want to just go skirt around the crest of the hill, down along here, past the logging camp, and then into Bridgwater. So we'll make a start running this line down. I want to keep it flat where we can. There's no point having excessive grade changes where they're not really needed. Just out of curiosity, let's have a look at the elevation here. So we're down at 33 meters, and Bridgeport Station, Bridgwater, I do apologise, is at 31 meters. So they're near there. They're there. It is there or thereabouts already. So we can carry on as we were. That's not too bad. 686,000. We should have that in a few minutes. Obviously, the purchasing of the locomotive and the train is going to have to wait a little while. My word, this metro service is a lot busier than I thought it was going to be. Oh well, I suppose it means it's making money. Oh, we have money. Speaking of, so let's lay that section of track now. And because we obviously already made a cut in, the second length of track costs us a lot less. We're not doing as much terraforming. Hello, Mr. Deer. Moose. Anyway, there we... Oh, just missed it. Just missed it. But we'll have money coming in a few moments. We have a ship on his way. While we're waiting for the money, let's just check the spacing of the ship. So they're a bit bunched up here still. I was hoping they'd be held at the port for a little while to allow them to space themselves out, because there's a large distance between these two ships. Because that one's got to go in there and then all the way around to catch up to that one. Whereas these three are in quick succession. So, yes, I was hoping that the AI would automatically hold them back for a small while to allow themselves to space out a little better. Perhaps that's something that will happen over time. So, there's our track laid. Let's get a diamond laid in here to allow the trains to cross over. This then means we can have one-way signals running this line. And that. In terms of blocking, we're not going to have many trains on this line immediately. Perhaps just 2 for now. So we'll put just 1 set in the middle-ish. That's pretty much the middle, I think that'll do. Now, the one thing we don't have is access from a train depot, because the lines are not connected. Now we could, coming off of this line, have a branch off point, single track, that runs into the passenger line, which means this depot will be able to service both our freight trains and our passenger trains. And I think we shall go ahead and do that. So the trains are, I've set them as left hand, so we want the branch line to come off the left track. Keep it nice and flat. Construction not possible. Well, we'll see about that. And then if we take him that away, we can address that with a bit of terraforming, that relatively unnatural looking edge that we've created. We've just unlocked the 440, the general. Whether we use it or not, I'm not so sure. And then we want to... No, we can... If we keep it flat, I think that's roughly the same plane height as the tracks we're looking to join onto. So when I said keep it flat, I didn't mean don't keep it flat. So let's just try that again. Keep him flat. And let's have him connect this way. How does that look? Pretty damn good. There we go. And we want a two-way... No, this will be a one-way signal. There. And we'll go ahead and add another line that connects onto the other direction track. Just equalize that as best we can. There we go, like that. And again, we want, oh, not a waypoint, we want a one-way signal just there. I'm not going to put any signals here because I don't want these trains to wait for a train coming this way. Rather, I want the trains that are joining the line to wait for the passenger line to clear, any existing trains to clear. Have a one-way signal there as well. That should do us quite nicely. Now, before we set the train line up and get the train assigned, we need to do the bus route that's going to service this station in Bridgwater. Otherwise, there's going to be no passengers travelling because they can't reach it from the city. So let's go ahead and do that. As I said, just a quick... better idea. What we shall do is connect these two roads together like that, and then have the bus run like so. Don't need one down there, no one's going to get on or off in that area. At least right now they're not. So a quick loop round Bridgwater. And let's name this one. This is bus service number 1 for Bridgwater. Servus. A good servus. There we go. We also want a road depot. We'll put it in the industrial area of town, away from the residents. And for now, I think we'll just have 3 stagecoaches on this bus service. There we go. Okay, now we can do the intercity train service itself. So this is our intercity train that runs between Coventry and Bridgwater. Perfect. So let's go ahead and purchase the train. So that's the one we just unlocked, the General. However, I believe the Russian Class T is superior, so we'll stick with that. We'll go with the passenger car. And to start with, we'll have 3. So we want 2 of those trains. We just can't afford that. Just short. There we go. Now we can. Colour them green. Ah, can they not reach? Oh no, I coloured them the wrong colour and I was looking for the green line. That's the bus line. They will not be running the bus line. So let's go to manage vehicles and set them to the correct colour. There we go. Well, I think they look rather lovely in blue. Look a little bit like Edward from Thomas the Tank Engine. At least I think so. So, a little bit more expansion completed. I think we are going to need some more vehicles on this line. We have 18, I think we go for another 4. We added 4 recently, so we'll go the same again to take it to 22. Because otherwise we're going to be losing end product that doesn't fit on this platform. If it doesn't fit on, we can't sell it. If we can't sell it, we don't make money. I'm very impressed by the popularity of this metro service. However, it does seem to have killed any demand for our bus service. Let's just check that. How many? Yeah, look at the drop off there. Obviously, this must be where we introduced the metro service here, and the demand has just about halved, if not more. Take that down to, yeah. Yes, that's a tangible drop off, but we'll keep it running anyway. As I said, it's not going to lose too much money, 20,000, when we're making $1 million on this shipping line and 50,000 here and what have you. It's not going to break the bank. We have our first passenger. Let's slow the game down. Set it to 1 times speed. 5 passengers heading to Bridgwater. Who are you? We have Reggie Williams, Rory Evans. Where's the others? Oh, there's one. Mr. Jacob White. And that's 3. Have I missed them? I must have. I must say, I think that's a thing of beauty. I really do. Simple things, I know. So there we go, there's our first 5 passengers utilising our passenger line. There's the second train that's going to be running this service. We have people waiting in Bridgwater. 4 people. Who we got over here? Let's see, shall we? What platform are they on for a start? There they are. We have Jacob Walker, Louis Mason, Edward Kelly, and somebody else. How do you stand under the canopy, guys? You'll be a lot drier. Not that it's raining, but you never know. This is the UK. It could rain at any time. Oh, do not stand there. There's a man who likes to live life on the edge, somewhat literally. So, moving on. Obviously, this is going to take a while to start turning a profit, I think. We could no, we won't be able to get goods in here for a while, and I don't think we have any nearby fuel refineries. We have oil wells and an oil refinery. We have plastics, so we have a goods factory there. And there is a steel mill here, but the distances are a bit too great for us to surmount at the time, so that's out of the question. But do we have a fuel refinery that's feasible to link up? Yes. And we do have an oil refinery. The oil wells are a fair distance off. However, as we've proven here, we could populate them with ships and they could utilise the river. That's worth considering. The idea being, of course, that would encourage growth in Bridgwater, which would encourage higher utilisation of the passenger service that we've just set up. So there's the train on his way. The second one is just heading into Coventry now. Already another 6 people waiting to board. I don't like the, that's a bit of a strange land formation. Let's just see if we can't get rid of that. Well, we could, until I blew the money away doing it. That looks better. We'll fix this section when we can. Which is not quite yet. We do a bit. Take the edge off, somewhat. There we go. So I think we'll return to 4 times acceleration at 1/4 speed. Date time. What time is it? It is indeed 11:10. Almost lunchtime. Beautiful. So things are going quite well. Coventry's a bustling little town right now. We've gone from 153 to 446 population. Hitting this quite nicely. Obviously we're not meeting it, but we're not too far off. How are these trains operating after we upgraded them and extended them? Let's have a look. Oh, there we go. Look, this must be where we made the change. Yes, the running costs have increased somewhat, but the profit has also increased, especially the profit margin. Just delete that, take that back. There we go. Yes, that's not bad at all. So they're making 400,000 per trip now. I think we started off around 200,000, so we've doubled the income. Now the next question is it worth upgrading the 2 trains running the lumber line to the higher power locomotive? At the minute I'm not sure that it is. As the trains are arriving, there is still some excess stored in the tool factory, so it's not like production here is shutting down for any great length of time. We're still cutting it close in terms of being able to clear the cargo platforms, however, so we may need to reintroduce even more trucks onto this line. We'll give that a few moments to equalise and see how we get on. How's our first train doing? Oh, was that our first train? Yes, it must have been. Or was it? I don't know. Anyway, they're not making any profit yet, which is a shame. Hopefully we are still offsetting. Wrong thing, that was a line manager. Hopefully we should still be offsetting that with our profitable lines. Yes, we are. That stone haulage line is very profitable. Very nice. The logging freight is looking beautiful, as is the shipping line, which is just, as I say, that dropped into the negative, but that's okay. Have the ships space themselves out a little more evenly. Somewhat. I mean, these 3 are still quite close, but they're not on top of each other anymore, which is progress. Now the question now is it worth having extra trams running the metro lines, because they are quite popular, or should we just leave it? I think we just leave it for now, because not all of the stations or stops are swamped with people. However, we may want to think about cutting back on the bus service. How many vehicles do we have running the line? 10. I'm going to drop it to 8 for the time being and see how that does. 56,000 there made by that train as it just dropped off a few passengers at Coventry. Obviously the idea being now that they all go and wait for a metro connection. Looking like that's what they're doing. Perfect. And here comes the metro now, so at least the passengers on this section weren't waiting for too long. Ah, and neither are these chaps. Ladies and gentlemen over here. Perfect. Well, I am going to go ahead and say that that isn't a bad place to end the fourth episode, this episode. A nice little bit of expansion. It's not making us any money at the moment, but that's okay. I just wanted to get something done, a new line put in, and we've done that. Obviously, I think our metro, I've never actually checked that. Is our metro making us money? Yes, both lines on the metro are profitable. We're looking pretty good. We've got some good lines set up. I think the next thing to do will be to upgrade the plank trains, just to make them that tiny bit faster. We don't even have to extend them. We can just have a more powerful locomotive pulling the wagons. And then we could even have even more trucks on here, as we'll have a greater throughput of planks as they're getting there that little bit faster. Although I don't think it's going to make a great deal of difference, but I think we'll do that in the next episode. So all that remains for me to say is to thank you for watching. I hope to see you again in episode number 5. Take care of yourself, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you later.